Okay, we should be good. No choppiness here.
All right.
Looking good?
Yeah.
Michelle, we looking good? I'm looking good. All right, let me give my update. Several weeks of quitting Effexor, Depakote. Week 3 of Wellbutrin, and week 2-ish, I think, of no caffeine. I feel good. I was telling Judy I dropped something in the garage today, just moving all the cleats and everything, Patrick, for the new workshop, and I realized that I reacted to it in a completely different way than I have in the past, and that was I didn't react to it. I find that I'm slowly but surely rebuilding muscle memory happiness.
Yeah.
I'm catching myself without anxiety every day.
It's been decades just shitting all over yourself. That's hard practice to get to the levels that we were at, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, likewise for new habits, it takes time to not immediately attach yourself to those emotions and get swept away into it. So
yeah,
it's like a muscle.
Yeah, for sure. I realized I talked about this before, but I want to articulate it a little bit better. And that is, the 28 years of hard drinking. Once I quit, I immediately got on some medication because of the panic attacks. And then that, progressed into being medicated a bit further along. And I felt it. I never had a baseline. So once I finally quit, it did a lot of good for me. I got a comment on one of the streams we did. Someone's like, medication works for I'm not shitting on taking medication at all. Medication is fantastic. If you get the right cycle going and the right process and a good prescription and either your primary care practitioner or a psychiatrist that knows what they're doing. But it just gets to a point to where once you got past the stuff like me, the panic attacks and the anxiety all started to lessen. There needs to be, for me, in my opinion, a good wean-off plan. I did not wean. I went cold turkey. But so after that, and then, so it had that long stretches of alcoholism, which I'm still an alcoholic, but I just don't drink anymore. And then medication for almost 2 years. I was sitting on the porch a couple weeks ago, and I gently started sobbing, and I'm like, man, I just now, after all of this work that we've been doing, I just now realized that I'm starting to rebuild a good baseline of how to function. So I won't belabor that anymore. It's just been so profound for me that I just wanted to talk about it a bit more and make sure that people understand that, hey, get out there and get some medication if you need it. Your doctors will be able to help you out with that. But get to a point to where you don't. Hold on, I'm about to bury myself again. You may be on it for the rest of your life. I thought I was going to be on Zoloft when I first started, but I'm in a really good spot. I can't believe how much non-anxiety and non-depression I have. And I think, again, conspiracy theorists, man, quitting the caffeine has been awesome for me. Just spectacular. Hey, Judy. Glad I won't pay you by the hour. I'm just kidding. We got a late start. Who cares?
I had to make coffee. It's this, the liquid of life. I had to make
Here's John selling being off of it, and Judy's like, hold on, I gotta get my fix in.
No, it's decaf.
Oh,
we're good. It's decaf.
We're good.
No, that would be very hypocritical. Good morning.
Excellent. Good morning.
How does Judy sound, Patrick?
Good. Her
Okay.
levels are good for me anyway.
Am I coming in low?
Oh, there we go. I was doing some weird. Yeah, no, you're fine. Okay. Anyway, that's where we're at. That's what's going on. So I feel good. I've been getting really good sleep. My big life event has taken a turn, which I've responded to very well. I'm sorry I can't share all the details. Let's just say I'm impressed by how I responded to what would be considered a pretty dramatic situation.
You responded very well. I mean, before when we were, in the middle of our drunken miasma, I think, and before that you had worked on yourself, I think you would have responded way differently. You would have, it would have been a mess, just a shit show. But you did very well.
Well, thank you. I'll take it. Do you want to talk about
my episode yesterday?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm feeling much better today, so that's a good thing. But yesterday I was in a shitty pity pot show, and it was horrible. I couldn't, even though we've been doing all this work and we've been doing all this talking about, self-work and all that and sober, sometimes you still slide back into a shitty day. And yesterday was a shitty day. I was stinking thinking all day long. I was pity. It wasn't a good mental or emotional day for me yesterday. It was bad. I was, hard on myself. I was allowing my inner critic to take over and rule every thought that came through my head. So I had to.
Now you turned her down.
Sorry.
It's all. Oh, okay. There we go. Quit messy.
Sorry.
But anyway, it was just it was a bad day. So this morning I got up and I did my meditation. And that helped tremendously, even though it was only a 4-minute meditation. And it's amazing how just that small little increment, that small little adjustment and refocus can really shift everything, that's going on at the time. Because our brain wants to keep thinking about what we're focusing on. So if you're thinking about nasty, negative stuff, your brain wants to keep thinking about that stuff. So to refocus and to redirect and to hit that reset button is something I would highly recommend to anybody, even if it's just like mine was 4 minutes and it just shifted everything, made it a heck of a lot easier for me to, am I okay now? Okay. Made it a heck of a lot easier for me to, adjust to any other stuff that's going on in my life. Being, turning 52 this year, it's a lot of stuff is hitting home. I'm not 16-year-old anymore. I'm not 25 years old anymore. I'm not going to be physically looking like I did when I was, in my 20s. It's just, I just have to accept that that's who I am. This is who I am, and feel comfortable in who I am right now. And to realize that, I can exercise and I can diet and I can, kill myself with all of that stuff, which I still do. I still exercise on a daily basis or every other day. And I still eat healthy. It's just when you're going through certain stages, you just don't lose your metabolism, just doesn't work the way it used to work. You don't get to eat everything you used to be able to eat. I still smash my bag of Reese's every once in a while, but that's sometimes you got to do that. But I just need to I'm learning to feeling more comfortable in who I am right now at 52 instead of always wanting to be who I was, which it's not productive whatsoever. It doesn't move me forward. It keeps me stuck in the past. And that's not where I want to be. I want to be in the present for the most part. And, thinking about my future and how I want to be in for the remainder part of my life, how I want to think, how I want I want to be happy and not sad and miserable for the, foreseeable future. So that's how my day went, and that's how my days started today. So it's much better than yesterday.
Yeah, it's tough for us to continue to try to shake off those old emotions. And
It is, especially I think for women. I'm not saying it's not the same for men, but for women, when we get all of that visual stimulation from the media about how we should be, how we're supposed to, you're supposed to be skinny and you're supposed to be tall, or you're supposed to be, have big eyes, or you're supposed to whatever, you're supposed to have blue hair. I don't care. Having that constantly in our face all the time, growing up as a woman, it's hard not to take on some of those thoughts and ideals as your own. But it's been easier when, having those inner dialogues with myself as far as the acceptance of who I am, just me. I'm me, and this is okay. This is actually very nice. I'm very happy with who I am. Those are very beneficial, and I think those are not taught enough to women, to girls, that they're okay being who they are. They don't have to be what they see on TV. They don't have to be what other people think that they should be. They're okay being who exactly they are, and they're beautiful the way they are. And I don't think that's. Sorry, I don't think it's stressed enough. I think it needs to be addressed more ardently to the young women, even to middle-aged women, and to women who are in their 50s and 60s, that it's okay to be who they are. And it's beautiful. So.
well put, babe.
Sorry.
Very well put.
Men feel the same thing. Hold on, I gotta do dog control. Men go through the same thing. We have body image issues, contrary to popular belief. We act like tough guys, and that it doesn't bother us. And then in the past, we would probably suppress those emotions with alcohol a lot. While we're getting fat, or wondering why we have leaking eyes and a red nose.
Yeah, why is that? You walk outside for 5 minutes during allergy season, all of a sudden you're a watery mess. You gotta walk back inside.
And I was talking about the side effects of heavy drinkers having leaky eyes.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. Judy and I were talking about it yesterday, and Patrick, I think you were going through, or currently, some self-expectation, I don't know, constraints, if you will. And it's interesting that we can have this weekly show. It's becoming nice therapy for me to talk through these things, and I catch myself after the fact trying to practice what we're talking about. But
it's not easy.
No, our minds slip so fast. It's all, Cro-Magnon survival based shit that happens, and it's frustrating sometimes because you wake up, you're going through this, you're going through that, and
so, if I could, like I said, the mind is a prediction machine. It wants to keep us safe, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The ego, that's what the ego is born out of. I touch a pan, it's hot, ouch. I remember now that pan is hot. So anytime I see the pan, I am avoiding certain things. It is written into my mind, hey, away from that pan, no pain. That's what we want, right? No pain. We confuse happiness with no pain sometimes. Let's start bridging these concepts together. This idea of self-image and oh, that person's pretty, they must be happy, I need to be pretty to be happy, or that is
Yes.
this image of a strong man is somebody that looks like X, Y, and Z and has these traits. I need to be X, Y, and Z in order to be happy. My point is, when you launch your brain into that thinking, when you remove yourself from the present moment, you get stuck on ego. This is you. These are you problems. This is you saying the outside is happening a certain way. I need the inside needs the outside to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's not matching up. And I'm either anxious or I'm fearful or I'm even clinging and happy, I cling to them with positive emotions where I don't want to let them go, right? Where I am just like, oh, I could be here forever instead of being in the moment. That's what happens, John. The brain is doing exactly what it needs. It's trying to do its prediction modeling. Hey, to keep us safe. But the reality of the situation is whatever's unfolding in front of you may be similar to a past item. That pan may be hot, but there are other external factors that is not at 100% simulation. The brain can't predict that fully.
Yeah.
So the best we can do is be present.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. The working on the being present though, it's getting much better for me. I don't know how it is for you, but it's
a day-to-day focus. I mean, I have to focus every day. Okay, I need to bring myself back to the present. I need to be here. I need to be now. I need to experience what's happening right now. And the meditation and just taking a few minutes of breathing is.
So the topics I picked, and hopefully we can watch it soon, is on this line is because what I've been dealing with too. And Judy, to your point, focus is a good word, but I also like to use like arriving at the seat of awareness, because we talk about there's a difference between I am angry and I am feeling angry, right?
Yeah.
When you sit in that state of meditation, you have to learn to see yourself for, inside, that you are not your stinking thinking. Right? When you were wrapped up in it, you're like, I'm fucking pissed off. This sucks. You suck. You're cool, but everything else sucks.
Yeah.
Like you're just like in it, right? Instead of saying like, hey, body, I see that you're stressed out about something, you're anxious about something, and you're feeling uncomfortable. Thank you for letting me know what's going on, and then trying to separate your consciousness, or you're not trying to dissociate, you're trying to raise the seat of awareness of what's going on, of how you're processing things that are coming in. That is it.
Instead of letting your inner child just throw a class A fit.
Right. So this is how everything kind of unfolds when you are in a state of agitation, right? We as addicts, we want to avoid, we want to be away. So we fight that. Agitation arises, anger arises, anger shows up and it's like, fuck you for being angry. I don't want to deal with this right now. So I will either, I need a drink to relax. I need to go do this. And the reality is, we're sitting here and we have these instances, John, you talked to when you were struggling getting sober, the items of like, just like, come on, can it just give me a break here? Tell me what is wrong. Tell me what do I need to do to earn my freedom, right? How do I become unshackled? And your body's over here going, hey, I'm pissed off. And you're like, not now, I'm trying to get free. Oh, guess what? Who has the answer? Who has the answer? The body.
Yeah.
You just need, instead of being able like, not now, I don't want to fucking deal with it, I'm going to go drink or I'm going to avoid. That doesn't mean when anger arises, what happens when you try to match anger with anger?
Oh, not good.
Right.
It doesn't.
Or you try
work.
to avoid. So how do you be present with anger?
The only thing I can think of is that you search down why you're angry. Where's the anger coming from? How to pinpoint that and work on that issue. to try and alleviate the anger. Previously, I would just go have a bong hit and there it goes. But yeah, recently when I get angry, a couple of days ago, actually, about a week and a half ago, I was really angry and really frustrated. And I just took a minute. I'm like, where are these coming from? Where exactly is this emotional or negative thinking or old thoughts? Where are they coming from? Where are they stemming from? And I was able to pin it down to a few, things that happened in my past, and why, when those certain things happened and it shook my foundation, that's where the uncertainty came from. Yeah. And so when I got triggered again with this wasn't the deal, but it was a perceived instability with my foundation that I reacted the way I did.
Your past experiences cued your body up, and you didn't have it in your forethought. Your body and your emotions remembered.
Yep, exactly. Said, hey. And so I stressed out. I clenched up.
Yep.
And got prepared. Started to prepare myself for the inevitable break of the inevitable crumble of the wall.
So Ted Lassoing that, be curious, not judgmental, right?
Yes.
Anger, fuck you for being here. Instead, so immediately greet it like, this is interesting. Why would anger be showing up right now? Right? And start asking those questions. And sometimes you're not even in a state of that. And one of my favorites is breathing, because it's just like, all right, because you get sometimes so swept up in it. You're like, I don't even know what emotion this is, So
that's pretty interesting. There's been a few times where, there's these emotions that come up. You can't really pinpoint them. They're just there.
Yep. I had a couple instances on vacation. We were doing the amusement parks, and trekking through the day.
Tell about the sun.
I mean, you're at the amusement parks, the kids did 5 days down there, and I only did 3 of them since I had a conference. But, you get late in the day, 8 hours in, 20 to 30,000 steps a day, right? With backpacks in the hot sun, and they're like, you're in the asphalt in the mid-afternoon, and all these items that we've talked about, like of checking in on yourself for sobriety, halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. We understand when the body is stressed out, it affects your emotional baseline, and that affects your thoughts, right? We like to think our thoughts drive the whole bus, the whole situation, and push everything down. It is quite often the opposite of that, right? So, we're at Disney, we're walking, and it's like, everything's good, and of course you're like, well, why not? And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the day, I'm tired of standing in lines, I can't keep up, we need to do this. And then just like the wheels just shoot off the bus, and it's like, everybody's like, I can't do this. And immediately my initial reaction is to be like, turn around and be like, we're at the happiest fucking place on earth. Why aren't we fucking happy? Get with the fucking program, right? That's answering anger with anger. And what was awesome about that? Because it welled up so intense. It was literally, my body was going, this is the price of your freedom right now. And that means surrender. If you are hung up on this, the outside is happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're going to think your way through. Your kids are hot, tired, and it is brutal out here. And they're fatigued, and they don't have the tools to deal with it. So instead of just like fighting that, I can just say, all right, this is where we're at, and sit down and try and talk with them, or be like, that $20 ice cream looks pretty good. I'm not even going to have to worry about spending the X amount of money, because it is totally worth it right now. Right. And I'm not trying to say you give into bad behavior and be like, all right, if I give you an ice cream, will you shut up? It's like, all right, let's talk through what's going on. Like, let's get some water. Let's breathe. Let's check in with each other. And then you check the time. It's like, all right, we're, this ways away from lunch or dinner. We have some options, talk it through, let's find the shade with the little water mister, and then talk it out. And it's realizing that, like, there's the difference between I am angry and I am feeling angry, right? It is so hard not to, like, and when emotions come up strong, I mean, and intense, even from other people. We see this, we cue off of that so strong, and it's like, I'm not yelling at you, I'm just matching your energy. It's like, like it sweeps you away very fast. So the exercise, the mind does what it does, right? It focuses. It goes, all right, I need to do my prediction modeling. Let's do this. We're focusing on this. And this is the items that we're going to talk about. When you bring it into conscious thought, you're like, think of a bush. Your mind goes, okay, I got this. I'm doing this. I'm putting this together. When anger arises, it's like, I am angry. I am in a state of anger. And it starts formulating everything from that seat, because the mind brings everything in the focus. And what we have to learn to do to release that, to arrive at the seat of awareness, is let go, surrender. Conscious thought is designed to focus and hone in those energies. How much part of the day do you go around and you take in so much?
Oh, all day.
Everything. I mean, there is so much that is going on, but what do you choose to focus on?
That depends.
The negatives, the anger, the frustration.
Does it? I like to think of it as a bunch of tiny mirrors. The mind focuses on what it's the state that it's in and what it wants to focus on, right? So if I'm in a shit mood, what are you going to find? What are you going to notice?
Oh yeah, shit.
Every
Turds everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's self-confirmation bias. I want to buy a new Toyota Tacoma, and I go out on the road and it's like, oh, there's one.
Yes, exactly.
There's one. I see it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
All the rest
number
of the
11.
cars just go away, right? I'm fucking angry. Guess what? I am gonna find
Everything else is going to make you more angry.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I am in a state of avoidance of like, I need this to make me right. I need this to I need this to happen for me to be happy. Let's just go even bigger. I need
X to happen before I will do Y.
Or I need X to happen to be happy.
Oh,
I don't even want to say before Y. Let's just go straight to the baseline, right? Because that's what we want. We don't be happy and free. Right?
Yeah.
Everything that you will focus on is what your brain thinks that's gonna get you there, and you just start stacking. I need that. I need that to make me happy. I need that person has that in their relationship. I need that in my relationship to be happy, right? My partner doesn't provide that to me. He's a piece of shit. And it just like, I mean, that was only 3 steps there.
Yeah.
From like, I need to be happy to be my partner's a piece of shit. That is not that far of a jump. So look what happens when we spend our entire life, decades, perfecting this art. It is a ton of stuff that we've collected. We have become the hoarders of these experiences of life that we've held on to, that we reflect everything back on. It's like carrying around it's like saying like, that smelled like shit, so I needed to stay away from it. So I need to check everything that smells like shit. And you carry around a bag of shit in your pocket to remind you what it smells like.
Jesus.
Is this what I need? Let's double check. No, it's not quite as shitty, but it's still shit. It's like that. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I had this experience in life and it made me happy. So that's not living up to par. And so therefore it's not going to make me happy. It's like, you know what? That experience is going to fucking happen whether you like to or not. The question is, are you going to get with the program and learn to be happy in here? What does it take for you to meet the experience as it's happening, as it's unfolding in front of you? What's it going to take for you to be present and accept it for what it is, neither good nor bad?
I feel like I just got a gentle scolding from Patrick on fucking be happy. It's good.
So
it was very emotionally charged,
It was good though. I loved it. When I was younger and my parents were well, my mom still is a Buddhist, but we were, really into it. One of the philosophies was happiness comes from within, and your environment is a direct reflection of what's happening inside of you. So you have to change what's happening inside of you to manifest change in your environment. Now, as a kid, I had no idea what that meant. I was still, and in the 80s, it was one of those things where you had to have the glittering this and the expensive this and the nice jeans and the clothes, and you had to, that's what they did in the 80s. So
the me decade, right?
Yes, the me decade, exactly. So that's how I was, what I would use as a reference point. And I never really understood until I got older and actually was not practicing Buddhism. I started to understand that philosophy that I had to find happiness within myself, and nothing outside was going to do that except for me. So yeah, that made a lot of sense with what you said.
Yeah, the big one for me is like I understand that, and you're like, yeah, of course, if I'm happy, I'm gonna think happy, right? So I gotta change it. I tried to short circuit that path all the time and be like, just think happy, you'll be fine, right? And I would try to, and what that does is like that ignores the complete first fact is we are trying to be present. If where you are at is in a state of agitation, surrender to that. Embrace it, because that is your body trying to tell you something, and that is not a bad thing.
No.
Hey, I'm freaked out because I don't know this situation really, and I've been trying to compare it to past items, and I don't like the outcome of those. I'm just concerned. I'm keeping us forever vigilant, right?
Hypervigilant. Yes.
It's bringing up the defenses. It's like saying like, hey, we've been through this. I'm trying to look out for us. And you just need to turn to it and say, I see you. I see you trying to protect me. Thank you. And like you raise my heart rate up. You make my nervous system ready to act. Breathe, understand it, feel it. What is it doing?
Yep. We are still so new in our evolution that we've talked about this before, that our brain, it's not designed to be happy. It's designed to survive. And continue to populate. So going back just a little bit, Patrick, and then we'll get to Michael A.Singer, because this is very apropos. We did not stage this, but it's perfect discussion. Is that, I think it also stems from the information overload. To your point, I'm guilty of it. I walk around, I've got, a DAC board in the kitchen. We've got data coming in from all over the place. And then
in almost
we wonder,
every room of the house.
Why am I, is fucking dinosaur getting ready to come in and eat my cave and my family and what's going on? It's like, where's the anxiety coming from? It's all, I think a big chunk of it is just all self-induced chaos that we're creating. And for me, I'm just now starting to understand that those are all external noises, the refrigerator buzz of shit happening, and it has had a profound impact on my happiness that I'm trying to regulate back,
achieve.
Yeah.
I love the brain, the thought process. It's like, hey, we're not okay. We need something to be okay. And the body's like, hey, I'm trying to let you know. And you're like, fucking not now. I'm dealing with this. I'm trying to think our way through. I need to read these newspapers. I need to read these BuzzFeed articles. I need to do all this. I need new information. I need stuff to tell me what's going wrong. And the body's going like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remind you. You're like, no. I'm like on a 12-hour binge. I'm getting all the information that I can. I'm getting my dopamine hits. I'm close to cracking, your conspiracy theory at this point. He's like, I'm close to cracking the code. If I can do X, Y, and Z, I'll be happy. And the body's like still standing in the corner being like, hey, remember me? This is like a team effort here.
Yeah. Give me some nurturing.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have that, which is very, very hard. That balance between the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. There's a balance that you for us as humans, I think, really need to try and keep it level, try and keep yourself in homeostasis with the balance of those elements. And then once one of them skews off, whew, wow, there it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe Patrick and Judy, let's get together and talk, because I'd like to get deep into this more about distractions and how we're not slowly, but very rapidly, rewiring our whole thought highway, if you will, with technology. And once we start to talk to Laura about sociology and her views and experiences. Oh, coming up, Patrick, I got to give you the dates. From a teacher's perspective, there's a lot to uncover. The other day, so we eat dinner religiously on time every day, and me, Judy, and Dad have a ritual. We have dinner, we have our TV trays, and we have our programs that we watch. But I think there's opportunity for us to have more meaningful engagement with that stuff too. And I'm not trying to be cheesy. I catch ourselves. I look around, and all three of us are intently just staring at commercials. Yeah. There's a better way. I know people are like, yeah, duh, you should sit down and have dinner and have discussions and talk. Well, I don't. Yes, probably should, but I think there's opportunities to have better engagement. I'm not saying we have to turn the TV off. I'm just saying maybe we have to recognize.
We can always mute the commercials.
I don't know, something. Just, I want the Laura Ingalls. Oh, that's who it is. Laura Ingalls, who we're thinking about, who wrote Little House on the Prairie. Sorry, ADD mind went way off track. I just answered the question from yesterday. from Jeopardy. Anyway, all right, let's, Patrick, very insightful today. You're on fire, man. This is
good stuff.
Yeah. Good therapy here. Okay.
Yeah, right. I was born in the crucible of the fires of Disney World asphalt with the family.
Nice. I love it. Been there. Yeah.
Patrick was over describing that the other day, and I'm like, as soon as he said heat radiating off of the asphalt, I was like, oh, fuck, no, absolutely not. I can't.
You could almost smell it.
Yeah, he's like, did you have a great time? I was like, it was wonderful. And then I told him that story. I was like, he's like, wait, it wasn't perfect? And I was like, oh, no.
No.
You got to deal with your ups and downs.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
Anyway.
You have to deal with your ups and downs. Real quick, before we get into... you said, Patrick, like you look around and you see this person, well, they seem happy because of this and blah, blah, blah. I realized that a while ago that's why we get sinister satisfaction about watching celebrities fail or getting something uncovered, because you're like, oh, fuck, they're human too.
I'm going to mess up the German word specifically for that. Schnüffelfraud.
All right.
The specific feeling of receiving satisfaction from the demise of, somebody's own hubris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm not proud of the fact of some of that I get satisfaction about some of that, but I mean, I don't always. I mean, there's a lot of times I look at them and think, oh man, that's terrible. I feel sorry for
That's just another thing that we are hung up on. You look at it, that's what we are processing. It's our insides, our mind going, my prediction modeling machine was right and you're wrong. I'm validated. You're not. I'm right. You're wrong. No. Like,
yeah.
It's the machine validate. It's the ego needing that validation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to, I'm becoming a huge fan of this guy. Judy has not seen any of this yet, Patrick.
I'm not. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
I
went through about 3 of his books recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get one on Audible. Not sponsored. By the way, Harris Heller in the background, not sponsored, just free, really good music. Mom downloaded all of these and is listening to it on the daily. We forgot to roll the intros. This is not medical advice. They're intros edited. Anyway, Michael A. Singer Patrick, I don't know. Are we going to start a series, or we just want to do bite-sized chunks from this first one on wisdom now? You want to do that? Like, we'll do the first 3.5-ish minutes of this, and then we'll,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So again, apropos to what we were talking about today, this one is titled Stop Fighting Your Mind and Do This Instead. Okay. Let's get into it.
If you fight with your mind, you lose. You cannot fight with your mind. Will not solve this problem. The best you can do in battling with your mind is suppress. And suppression does not work. The energies that you suppress just mull around underneath and jump up and get you later, right? There's no benefit to suppressing. Therefore, there is no benefit to fighting your mind. None. That is not how you solve your issue with your mind. You start to look at mind eventually when you get clear enough, and you realize, mind is like weather. Sometimes it's stormy, sometimes it's balmy, sometimes it's drizzling, and sometimes it's pouring. And there are even tornadoes. Just as the weather has a cause behind everything it does, the mind has a cause behind everything it does. You just have to be wise enough to realize what you're looking at as mind, all this talking and judgment and changes and arguments and different stuff going on in there, that's just the surface. That's the end result of the forces that are causing the mind to be. If you want to have a deep, meaningful life and really grow very deeply spiritually very quickly, you have to go to the root of the mind. You have to go to the root to find out, why is the mind doing what it's doing? That journey is your entire spiritual journey. Once you've solved the mind, it's over. You'll see. It just happens by itself. Everything opens up inside. The mind is the anchor that is binding the soul to this situation. So you watch and you try to see, why does the mind say what it says when it says it? Why does it do what it does? Why does it like some things and not other things? And why does it keep changing its mind? What is going on? What are the forces there? And you look deep, and what you will see, in truth, behind all of mind, is that you care about the outcome. You care about what's going to happen. So that if you're going on a date with somebody, you care about whether they like you or not. I mean, it sounds trite. See, truth always sounds trite. Why? Because it's the truth. You care about what happens in the different situations you interact with each day. If you're going to work, you care if you get the raise. You care if you succeed. You care if somebody else does better than you do. You care if you get recognized. You care if you get yelled at. You care about every single thing that takes place. You have a way you want it to be, and you care if it turns out that way. That is why your mind is so active. If you will watch your mind, it's doing the following. It's telling you how you want it to be. It's telling you how to get it that way. It's worrying about whether it will be that way. It's judging who's on your side, who's not, what forces are helping you, what forces are going to hurt you. It's plotting and planning what to say, what not to say, judging you because you said something stupid. It's just in there constantly talking about what? How it wants to be and whether it's going to be that way, because I care about the outcome. It's all about caring about the outcome. Even in the past, I wanted it to be that way, but that was 5 years ago. The outcome, like, it just keeps mattering, and the mind just keeps talking about it. So that's one way to look at about the mind. Let's say you really don't want something to happen. Do you notice that your mind cares whether it happens or not? What if I challenge that? What if I stop this intuitively obvious thing and just say why? You will catch on one day.
Good stopping point, Patrick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, so you get people hooked. I want to watch that whole thing. It's that one's 21 minutes long, so we can't. We're not going to sit here and do that. We got to have discussions. But man, so true. What do you?
Yeah.
Patrick, you want to jump in first? Judy, you got any thoughts?
Go ahead.
I yeah. Duh. No, I can totally. It makes complete sense. I care. Yeah. That's about all I can say is, yeah.
It's the prediction modeling machine. It
Yes.
wants the outcome. It wants the outcome. It cares about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's surprising to me about this is sometimes this is I can't words right now. First, it's opaque to us. Like we can't see it. Like
Yes.
it arises and like you need something from somebody, and like I need love or I need the pat on the back. It's like, hey, I need validation, right? I need to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outcome needs to be like congratulated or getting the pat. So I care if I do my work and it's to this degree of excellence that I will be noticed and it will be accoladed, like I care, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to be validated, right? Rather than just saying like, I love to do the work for the work, I enjoy putting these wires together and I enjoy, like sitting there and thinking of the solutions. No, I need to know that my way is right and I am validated for that work. And so it becomes these really deeply, it seems like the more that he is absolutely right. We care about all the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're saying to yourself, no, then that tells me that it's stacked deeper on
Deep
top
down.
of a bunch of, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen, you see some of these people out there. Well, I don't care what that person thinks. I don't care what that person thinks. I never really can take them seriously because it's like, well, I deep down somewhere you care. Somewhere that
yeah,
deep
it may
down
not be
you care.
from that person. It's going to be from another group of people,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you say like, I don't care what that person thinks, really you're projecting like, I am hopeful that the rest of the people that I know don't think the same way as this one person.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I care what the other people think.
Because I care what the other people think. Yeah. Because I need to be validated.
And it's really interesting that he talks about the mind in the way that it's not. It was a lot like, every once in a while I have to remind myself that my mind will lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not end all, be all. It's not the fact. It will lie. It will make up stuff. And you just have to, like you were saying, you just have to let go and accept it.
That lying portion of my brain has been there for so long because of the drinking, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very pervasive still, and it's getting a lot better. It's getting a lot better. I hesitated there because, again, we talked about this on the last episode, Patrick, is that, everyone's mileage will vary when you go into sobriety, depending on what you were doing and how long you were doing it. But again, don't try it. With me, my expectations were really false.
Mm-hmm.
After 30 days, I was like, this is fantastic. Then the 60-day, they put all these marks. If you go and like, what happens to you after you quit drinking? And on Google, there's like the 30, 90, 6 month. And you're like, oh, I would tell Judy like, oh, and in 2 more weeks, this should happen.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Who comes up with these milestones? They're not, it depends on 1,000 different things.
Yeah. I mean, I frequent the I will not drink with you today, the stop drinking subreddit. And, it's interesting to me, a lot of the beginning, and it's hard in that beginning part of sobriety because you look to validate, is my decision valid, right?
Yeah.
So in 30 days, if I am like doing X, Y, and Z, I'm valid for my decisions, right? It's all going to plan. It's awesome. I am right. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because, at some point when you peel back that layer, that booze was just that mute. That was, for addicts, the drug of choice is the choice to leave body, essentially, right? To mute it and dissociate. And when you peel back that layer and you're just like, oh, wow, look at all this stuff.
All the stuff. Once you lift up that rug, all the stuff that you swept underneath, it's all sitting there.
Right. Yeah. And then you got to, but it's a wonderful journey because that pain of realizing, when you go through it, It may knock some people back when they're like, oh, 30 days, this didn't happen to me. This is stupid. And then they go back to it. And then 3 years later, they're like, why am I still drunk? Right.
Mm-hmm.
The pain of realizing that my path may not be written in a book is yet to be unfolded in front of me. Can be a very, I speak of it as very effervescent and liberating, but that born of that could be some very strong pain to let go of these prediction models that we held on to for so long.
Yeah.
We write them into our identity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I'm trying to say about psyche. Like, if holding on to that pan was hot and I got burnt and I need to avoid that, that's part of me now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if talking to people in a certain way and winning affections or winning others over and getting affection, I need to be a certain way. I need to dress a certain way. I need to act a certain way. I need to present a certain way.
It's all the lies that you created during your drunken miasma that you're still holding on to while you're sober. And it's
if
not
I'm a good
allowing
person
you to,
and I'm on my way to sobriety, then I need to do things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And then yet here comes life unfolding in front of you in a way that is different and is confusing. But are you willing to see maybe has more beauty in the way that it unfolded that you couldn't even begin to imagine, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it touches, like an item, when you come face to face something innocuous and it touches a deep fear. Judy, you talked to the point of running that discipline and raising the awareness to looking inside, and you say like, oh, I had a past experience of this. There some of the deeper ones we talk about. Trauma is the point where we've disconnected from our emotions,
Mm-hmm.
where we built those layers up further. We may get see something a couple layers down, and then sometimes we may get to peer well deep into our core of our being. That is very scary, and to remove those items can be very painful.
Yeah. But it's also, it goes back to talking about letting go and letting go of that control. And those layers that we put on ourselves, that's our way of controlling the situation, controlling so that we don't get hurt.
Yep.
And then when we let go of them and start lifting up those layers, we're having to let control and let ourselves be vulnerable. And let ourselves be open. And that's not something that anybody who is drinking or that's what they're doing to mask all that so they don't have to deal with it. And then you start to sober up and open up those layers and make yourself vulnerable. And it's a very, very scary thing to do. But I personally, once I started doing that, it was scary. But then after I processed everything, it was so liberating. It was like, okay, I don't have to deal with that anymore. I can let that go completely. I don't have to deal with that anymore. I still have life and I still have everything going on in my environment, but that specific issue or that way of life that I've had, that old thinking process that I had, that I don't have to have anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. Instead of, I don't get to do that,
You doing all right over there, John?
Yeah. Just a lot to process.
Absorbing.
Yeah. I just, I've realized that I spent so long cultivating an illusion of my own identity.
Mm-hmm.
With drink, that it was just such a profound waste.
It's the
of
masks
time.
that we all wear.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have this opportunity to hold it in a nicer or a. I also felt that waste feel, but I have to look back and realize like that was just, I hate to borrow from Buddhism here, but.
By all means.
The Buddha nature of ego is to hold on and build, itself. See me, see me, see me.
Yeah.
John, you did what any person would do. That is not a waste. That is there is no good or bad to that experience for you because it has unfolded and put you where you are at today. Do you think the Buddha mattered whether he reached enlightenment further in his lifetime or like not 2 years after he was born? He became an enlightened being, period. There's no almost enlightenment. There's no like, what I'm trying to say is like where you are at today and learning all this is accumulation of all your past experiences, even the ones that we want to shy away from. And he talks about that. Michael Singer talks about this. I want the past to be better. I wasted my time. I needed to be more fulfilling of my time to validate myself. I needed to be better.
Even though you're wasting your time right now dwelling on the past.
It happened.
Yeah.
And it makes, and then because I feel that that gives me a drive to, that is a powerful motivating factor to make the most of what I can now. Right. Thank you, past, for reminding me of what happens when I am not present.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As Jane Austen says, only remember the past as its remembrance brings you pleasure. Doesn't mean you don't learn from the past. You just try to think of the things in the past that bring you pleasure and not everything that doesn't. I've always had that always stuck in the back of my head ever since I started reading a lot of Jane Austen, and I just thought, that's a pretty good philosophy. I don't always adhere to it because I get stuck in my own little self-pity problem, but yeah, that's a good philosophy.
Takes practice.
Every day is practice. We practice now.
I know. So, building the workshop / studio, it has been an exercise daily. I go out there, Patrick, and there's so many different little things. When you look at it on the surface where it's at now, you're like, oh, couldn't have taken that much work. But man, it's sweat and tears out there. And I use all those opportunities to have intentional interactions with every little thing that I do because I enjoy enjoying the stuff, if that makes sense. In the past, I used to just try to rush through it, and anxiety.
Get to the outcome.
Yeah.
Get to the outcome.
Yep.
Get to the end.
Oh, the outcome is shitty. I wonder why. But now it's like
that philosophy to life. We're worried about getting to being happy.
Yes. So now I just, every little outlet box that I put in and measure to the exact height as the other one and all those little things, I'm very, very proud of it, and it's fun. I was going to ask you, Patrick, you come over, I'm very proud, and I show you this stuff. I don't get the reaction that I'm anticipating because I've created one from you. You
False
just kind
expectations.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, looks good.
That's it.
I love your creative thinking and the way you've gone in there. When you were just explaining like the outlet boxes, I just see you Bob Rossing it up and being like, yeah, that's a happy little outlet box.
Yeah.
Yep.
His wires are here to join them, and you're like pulling them, and you're like, hey, it's coming together.
And here's your little friend, the switch.
Yep. I mean, I have my own emotions in that too. My brain doesn't shut the fuck up either. I'm like, wow, he's got a really cool space out here and he's dedicating the time. Sometimes like for me, and then watch this. This is how my hot garbage just gets rattled around sometimes. It's like, well, I wish I could do that, but I don't have the time because, with the kids, it's like I can't take on large projects like that. Or if I did it, I'd do it differently. Why did he choose that for the wall? I would have done this for the, it's like brain, shut the fuck up, and like, this is John's creation. How awesome is this to watch this unfold, right in front of you? I get to visit, frequently and see the progress, and it's so fun to see, like for me, it makes me happy. It makes me happy seeing you be happy and finding a vehicle with it, because that is like talking to you with that is one item that, I get to see. I don't want to say escape from, but like you have good awareness in your process there that you're not we're not, when we get stuck in our own thoughts, that's swimming in our own shit.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing you build out there is like, I feel happier sitting back and watching you being present with that.
Yes,
And I
definitely.
worry if I brought my own shit into it, I was like, this is his. I don't need to upset that. If he wants help, he'll ask. If he wants to show it off, I'll come in. If he wants different opinions on how to put stuff together, he'll ask. But in the meantime, tell me how you built it. Show me how you put it together. And I'll say, okay, did you have fun doing that? Is this a happy little outlet?
All right. This has been a great chat. I'm going to be unapologetic anymore. We got off to a late start and a little bit of technical things. We're still wrapping up. Who cares? We're here for us, and if you feel like joining, that's fantastic. We got 309 subscribers. Thank you all for the support.
Yes, thank you very much for subscribing. We appreciate that.
I'll go ahead and we'll get together and we'll talk about you. Patrick, do you want to just continue on doing like a little 3-minute chunks here and there? I think you got the next chapter mark at 5 minutes.
Next chapter mark 706.
Okay. I'll look at my.
And I have the other here. I'll send you the chapters in Discord here.
Okay. All right. So we'll continue on with the Michael A.Singer Stop Fighting Your Mind and do this.
Thank you, Michelle, for the comment about great show and all your other comments. Thanks, Mom.
And someone I do not recognize just said, and thank you for having the channel. Odie.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
A colleague in one of my other communities.
Oh,
nice,
sweet,
a good,
very
friend.
cool.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Odie. All right. Okay, so we'll continue on with that. Patrick, thank you so much.
Welcome back from your vacation.
Yeah, we are
born again.
You're refreshed.
Hardened by the House of Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was trees around, right? So please don't. I gotta be.
He's already written the book.
Yeah.
There of course there is, but I mean, it's also a very surreal experience because it's very well calculated. There's more than enough employees everywhere. Like there's no trash anywhere. There's trash cans everywhere. Like they move stuff underground, so it's like all presented very well, right?
Oh, that's nice.
So just seeing the logistics of you're like, wow, that's a large when you begin to think of it. And then you also begin to think like, well, that's quite the facade that they're putting on as well. And
I think that's what you pay for when you go to those places. You pay for that clean, pristine facade.
Yeah, and not to get like all metaphysical, but me eating my lemon icy, just crying, being like, why is my family like this? And it's like, like I'm in this fake world and this is all fake. This is all bullshit, And it's just like, either you could get on that ride and enjoy it, or you could complain about everything that you're riding on right now.
The perspectives, man. It's crazy how quick we let go of that stuff. We've had a ton of electrical work done for the last month around here. Patrick, I think I told you they're coming your way. They're replacing all the.
Mine was two years ago.
No.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, twice I've had, so like the foreman was out and I'd be out there running. And so what they're doing is a huge upgrade to the transformers and the underground wiring that's been here. Subdivision was laid out wrong, but the subdivision creator or architect or whatever, it turns out he was an alcoholic who made the plans all incorrectly. I'll tell you about it one day, Patrick. I'll show you. If you on your walks, look to see where the sewer manhole covers are. They're not supposed to be in someone's yard like they are on ours. Anyway. They're totally apologetic. They're like, "Oh, sorry, sir, we'll be out of your hair. So, we got this to do." And I stopped the foreman.
Very friendly.
I know. I was like, "This is the juxtaposition of us privileged Americans." I said, "I've been stationed in several third world countries, and namely on the border of North and South Korea. This would be a a heaven sent gift. You have no idea what people would appreciate when you've got literally hundreds of electrical wires like accumulating in the one short circuit area and shit like that. The proactive upgrades, people don't understand what that is in some third world countries. And here, he's like, well, you wouldn't believe how many people we get bitching and complaining about us tearing up a little hole in their yard. I'm like, accidentally cut their cable in half and see how long they don't have their electricity anymore. Perspectives.
What a happy little manhole.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a happy little man. Well, it's okay.
We're, you know, like I said, we're all worried, you know, that we're not going to make it out alive. And spoiler alert, we're not. So might as well just enjoy the ride for what we got it for.
Right?
That's right.
Exactly.
It's amazing that it's unfolding it the way it has.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's on the docket? Judy and I are going to get back into Final Fantasy 16. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. That's how you make a video game right there.
It's
Man.
beautiful. The storyline
Now
is
you're pulling out my
fantastic.
strings. I dipped out at 10.
Oh, we'd
Yeah.
never played any of them.
Ouch.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna. The turn-based
Dude.
stuff killed me. Now it's all, it's real-time strategy and combat. It's not turn-based. So anyway, and then that's on the agenda for today. I got a couple more things to do in the workshop for today. Patrick, do you want to go with me to Home Depot, pick up some plywood tomorrow or OSB and help me rip that and mount it and get going?
Yeah, I feel like a Tim the Toolman Taylor, like,
Yeah. Home
Just-
Depot.
yeah. Yep. Count me in.
All right.
Let me, I'll sync up with you on, the rest of my crew when they're leaving. So
Sounds good. Okay, Patrick, we love you very much. Thanks for being in our lives.
Yes,
Love you
thanks,
guys.
Patrick.
All right, and
Be kind to yourself.
be kind. Fucking be kind to yourself.
That
All
was
right?
that was actually my meditation this morning, was how to be kind to myself.
we're at the happiest fucking place on earth. Get with the fucking program.
Yeah. Eat your fucking ice cream and shut the fuck up.
And smile, damn it.
Okay. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. Tune in next week. We'll continue on with the Michael A.Singer Stop Fighting Your Mind. Very apropos stuff. And thanks for all the support. Yes.
988.
Oh, yes. Remember, we got, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health and crisis, we got the suicide prevention hotline posted there, 988. Give them a call. Talk through some stuff. Just start talking. Also, if you or a loved one or someone you know is struggling with addiction, alcoholism, abuse, all that, I was about to say all that good stuff, all of that stuff. And they need to know where to start. Al-Anon is a fantastic organization. A ton of the stuff is now virtual. Jump on, just start the process of figuring out how you can get you or your loved one some help. All you have to do is make the first step, make the call, get on the internet, check it out. And that is that. Judy keeps reminding me I got to roll this outro.
Thanks for listening. Check out the Sober Mind live stream at youtube.com/@sobermind.
There we go. All right, y'all. Tune in next week, and we'll see you guys next time.